What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I have another Palantir update to bring all of you guys this evening. We have a boatload of things to talk about with this stock in terms of the chart, the sell-off, a new deal, and Cathie Wood purchasing about 800,000 shares, which we are going to be going over as well. I know a lot of you guys have mixed opinions on Cathie Wood and what she does in her investment ETFs, but we're going to kind of break all of this down. Now, the first thing that I kind of want to talk about here with everybody is you're going to see a lot of people on the internet screaming, buy the dip, forming communities, and almost creating this groupthink mentality. Me personally, I frankly don't care if you buy the dip or not. What you guys all have to realize at the end of the day is that investing, trading, the stock market is not a team sport. What I'm trying to do here for you guys is provide you guys some very, very solid information in a way that you may not have been able to see otherwise. If you've been watching a lot of these Palantir videos, we've been pretty spot on with the short-term price action and the fundamental analysis, talking a lot about AIP leading up into Palantir's earnings. Information is key, guys, but at the end of the day, you have to be the ones making the decision for yourself. But we have a lot of interesting info here, and personally, I don't think this sell-off is really that bad, but we're going to break down exactly why in a second. But again, team, make sure that you guys hit that like button here, drop a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you never miss another video like this. Without further ado, let's roll the intro. Now, guys, before we head into all of this information, reminder, Trade1348.com is still offering you guys the deal of a lifetime with 1 month free to the absolute best place to come and learn to trade. We just released probably the best tool that we ever have called GoldenEye. If you guys have been following along on this channel, either on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever, I mean, you guys saw me hit some 300% trades yesterday with this amazing tool. You get access to all of the proprietary algorithms, all of the learning tools, everything. And again, if you guys have seen the interviews out there, the one where one of our members turned 8,000 into $1 million, another where a 19-year-old kid made over $100,000 in a month, this stuff's the real deal. If you guys would like that 1 month free trial, make sure you guys check out that link down below using code GAINZ, G-A-I-N-Z. But let's get right into the chart here of Palantir and kind of go over exactly what we're seeing. So when we're looking at this chart here on the daily time frame, free fall. That's exactly what we're seeing after this earnings right now. Now, we broke down the earnings in the last video that I made, and the earnings, again, like I said, was a really, really nice base hit. But as we were saying leading up into the earnings, it's going to be very difficult for Palantir to have a very aggressive price move to the upside after their last earnings, in which they went from, let's say, right around like $8, $7, $8, all the way up to a high of $20 over here, 155% increase. That's a very, very difficult valuation to withhold just based on one earnings report. So taking that all aside right now, those of you guys that have been looking at this stock for a while and have been in this thing dollar cost averaging below 10, well, you're still in a really, really good spot. And again, it's always going to be up to you what you want to do. I personally bought more today. I think that's something that I should tell you guys. But again, it's up to you at the end of the day. I'm not here to tell you when to buy and when to sell. Remember, dollar cost averaging is going to be your friend over the long term. And we've talked about this a lot. The catalyst for Palantir heading higher are going to be repeated solid earnings over time. Now, with AIP coming out and really showing a lot of, there are a lot of consumers, showing a lot of demand for AIP, I think this is a really, really good thing for Palantir going forward. But this is not going to be a short-term game. On Trade 1348, you know, guys, we're taking these short-term trades in making money in the near term. But these companies that we're talking about in these videos here, they easily could take a very extended period of time in order to get to those prices or valuations that you guys would be comfortable with. So let's see what we can see here with Palantir moving to the downside. Well, we have a couple of these levels down here at 1359. Do I think we're going to get there? Well, we do have CPI data tomorrow, which could definitely mess with markets if CPI comes in a way that the market does not like. We are definitely going to be selling a little bit lower. When you also take a look at a lot of the other AI companies, they're also selling off today as well. Now, looking at this on the 4-hour time frame here, which I actually haven't taken a look at. Yeah, we are dropping below this 200 EMA, the 200 exponential moving average. So guys, I do think that there is a little bit more downturn ahead. I don't see anything wrong with that. We've talked about that $14 range for a while. I really like that range. That's where I was buying those call contracts and had those 200% gains. But I think the main thing here that a lot of people need to realize, sorry, I have something in my eye right now, that I think a lot of people need to realize is you have to be able to take your emotions out of the equation when you are operating and putting money at risk. Anytime that you buy a stock, an option, an ETF, anything, you are putting money at risk. Now, that's going to come with a lot of emotions. What you have to do, and what helps a lot with emotions, is learning and understanding why you are doing what you're doing. And I want you guys all to ask yourselves this question. Why are you investing in this company? Or why are you even paying attention to this company right now? Because if your thesis is, well, I think they're going to be able to expand a lot, their revenues are going to grow over time, their margins are going to get better, that stock-based compensation is going to come down, their commercial revenue is going to grow in the future, and none of that has really changed. It's actually gotten a little bit better. Well, then the thesis isn't different, so then you shouldn't do anything different. If there was something in that earnings call or earnings report that was completely shocking to you, well, and again, I've said this before, that when you're buying long-term companies, you're always going to have a bull thesis, but you also need to have a short thesis as well. Because when you're looking at these, well, you need to have some sort of exit signal, and you need to think about things from both sides. So if that did happen in the earnings report for you, which I don't personally think it did, then you would have a little bit of a decision to make. But again, with the market selling off here and with Palantir being on such a massive run this year so far, this type of pullback, in my opinion, is really not all that much to be worried about. Now, guys, that we've gotten through all of that, I want everybody to sit back, relax, take a deep breath, and fall back on the research that we have done on not only this company, but any other companies that you are invested in at this time right now. You should be doing the research. You should not be listening to talking heads on social media. My job, remember, I'm trying to point you guys in the right direction of the important things to look at. But again, it is always important to know exactly why you are doing what you're doing in the market for yourself. You might even disagree with me sometimes, and that is good, and it actually encourages a positive conversation, and we all learn new things. But let's get into exactly what we're looking at with Palantir and what happened today. So, Palantir Technologies and Azul Energy, a leading Angolan energy provider, have entered a multi-year partnership to deploy cutting-edge software to optimize Azul Energy's upstream production. Palantir Foundry will help Azul Energy manage their current 200,000 barrels of daily oil production and support their goal of 250,000 barrels a day. Azul Energy, a 50-50 independent joint venture owned by BP and Eni, has selected Palantir Foundry to digitize operations of their assets safely and efficiently. Foundry will be deployed in Azul's energy upstream oil production business to support petroleum engineers, process engineers, flow assurance engineers, and more. Foundry will also assist in the development of Azul's energy upstream ontology, connecting their data, including real-time sensor data from wells, pipelines, compressors, and other equipment, allowing safe and productive workflows. So again, guys, another very, very solid addition to Palantir's client base here, and is, again, they're continuing to add business. They're expanding into other industries, and this, another commercial client. The next thing that I want to talk about very briefly, team, is this situation with ARK Invest and Cathie Wood. Now, a lot of you guys don't necessarily like Cathie or don't understand her thesis. Now, they have a small team working, and I've said this a lot on my live streams. Remember, we live stream the market open every single morning, and we say that Cathie is most likely going to have the last laugh. We've been in a period of rising interest rates, growth stocks flying all over the place, up, down, not left, but right, over the last year and a half or so. And again, if you're a heavy growth investor, well, you're obviously going to be taking some hits and having to do things with these large positions. So Cathie Wood bought another 800,000 shares of Palantir. You can see in ARK, in ARK W, she bought about 117,000, 624,000 in ARK. And then over here in ARK F, she also bought another 76,000 shares. So I want you guys to try and take Cathie away from this and say, okay, we have more institutional investors putting money into this stock. That is going to be key for the long term. if you start to see, again, we've seen this a lot in the past with a lot of other different stocks where things start to happen with their fundamentals and they really, really start to see that institutional investment coming in. Well, remember, they have more data than we do. They have more people analyzing this data than we do all of the time, so that they have a better insight into what is happening in not only the broad market, but with these individual stocks. So I think a lot of people might think, oh, Kathy's buying, she might just come in and flip it again. I really just view this as more institutional investors coming in. Now, guys, the last thing that I want to leave you with in this video in terms of price movement of Palantir is this. Now, pay attention. Remember, in the earnings that came out this week, they have authorized $1 billion worth of share buybacks. Now, what do share buybacks do? If you go back and look at the first Palantir recent video that we have made this year, we talked about how their outstanding shares was increasing pretty aggressively, but it is starting to peak. If they start to buy back shares, it decreases supply. Now, when you decrease supply and you still have the same demand, well, you can then see price start to go a little higher, which is a good thing. Now, in terms of the decrease of supply, there's then the question, well, how much of a decrease is it going to be? Well, as price gets lower, they are able to buy more shares, which then further decreases supply. So this short-term pullback that we're seeing on Palantir right now, I think is going to be very good for this share buyback that is going to be coming over the next few years. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you did enjoy it, make sure you guys hit that like button down below, drop a comment, hit that subscribe button. But other than that, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.